Kristen, talk about coming back to Jessica Jones in this milieu. Obviously, you were in Defenders, but this is such a, when I watched a couple episodes of season 1 and season 2 to prepare, and this is such a physical role for you. You're in virtually every scene, and very often, kicking butt or kicking your own self in some weird way. Is this job as exhausting as it looks?
Yeah, I am tired. It is simultaneously exhausting and challenging, but so rewarding. I mean, this is the kind of material that you hope to get your whole career. I feel like this is like my absolute dream job. It's so rare that you have a role where you can do drama and work with great scene partners and be vulnerable and also be funny and get the funny lines, and then also do action and stunts. That never happens. I can't think of another part that is as dynamic and right for me as this one. So it's worth it. And I'm a really hardcore person, so I love that I totally am. I love that I have this level of material to absolutely throw my whole self into. So coming back for season 2 I just wanted to, go even harder.
Mm-hmm. Rachel and Carrie-Anne, can you talk about how your characters interact with Jessica and what dimensions you think are important to their characters that reflect on Jessica's story?
One of my favorite things about Jessica Jones is that female friendship is right front and center. And in lots of ways, I feel like the friendship between Trish and Jessica is really the heartbeat of the show. And I love that season 2 really takes that kind of centerpiece and gives it a big shake.
You're the one person that can get to that heart encased in concrete, deep down.
Yeah, I think so. And that's just such an amazing playground to kind of play in as an actor, especially given that season 1 kind of establishes this deep love and this deep loyalty, and season 2 kind of chips away at that veneer, and we see these women that are not always on the same page. We see my character that's, prepared to push Jessica to places that are very, very painful. Trish is not always the perfect friend to Jessica in season 2, and I think that was a really interesting space to play in.
Mm-hmm. You have an accent.
I do have an accent.
When did that happen?
Yeah. So does he, by the way.
Guilty.
We're everywhere. So does she. Yeah.
He does.
Well,
Everybody does.
Oh, yes, she does.
it is a global television service, right? Yeah, true. Carrie-Anne, can you talk about your character and kind of how you see how your character interacts with Jessica, particularly in this upcoming
in this
season?
second season? I think it, in Jerry Hogarth's world, she doesn't really have any intimacy with other people, true intimacy. And when she deals with some stuff in the episodes to come, she ends up knocking on Jessica's door. And Jessica has basically said, I want nothing to do with you, and has, turned away from her so many times from Jerry. And in that moment when Jerry shows up in a vulnerable moment to talk to her, she lets her in, which I think says a lot about them. And they end up having it was one of my favorite scenes to shoot. I don't know how it turned out, I haven't seen it yet, but just having this intimacy between these two women who genuinely, I think, care about each other, but are completely so radically different and hate each other in a way. To have this moment of, okay, I see you, and have that vulnerability come up. So it's complicated.
It seems like they understand one another. They're both very tough, guarded women who know there's something else going on behind that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think too, like in the moment that I come there, I have nowhere else to go, and it just says so much that I show up there, and so yeah, and it's interesting because they are so far from each other, and yet in real life, this is one of my besties, and when I showed up at her set, like I'd never even seen that set. Carrie-Anne had never seen Jessica's apartment. And when I walk in, I'm like, oh, the character's like, oh wow, I've never been here, and I had never been there. And we have so much intimacy that to play that chess game, that guarded thing, it's amazing.
I love our scenes together.
It's fun.
Because we're nothing like the characters. And sometimes I'll watch like how fierce and like hardcore you are in the show, and in real life you're obviously not like that. And you're such a fucking great actress.
It's fun. We have so much fun.
We have so much fun together.
Yeah.
Yeah, great to mention. Janet, what can you tell us about your character?
Absolutely nothing. That's it. That's all you get. I can't tell you
It makes
anything.
doing interviews really easy.
Yeah.
I can't say.
I can't tell you anything because that would spoil the fun.
Tell-
You just have to watch it.
Can you tell us about how you came to the show? You've obviously done a lot of
You've
movies.
got such a look of terror on you.
I guess I'm not a very good actress.
Because they asked me to.
Actually, we begged her to, I think. It's like a little more to the point.
No. I had a conversation with Melissa particularly, I think, and we just sort of fell madly in love with each other over the phone. And I'd seen the first series, and I wanted to be a part of this amazing story and these wonderful women and men.
Conveniently relegated to the side. I'm talking, I'm just sit here and look pretty.
In the corner.
And
I'll be
yeah,
over here.
so yeah, it just seemed like it was going to be a big adventure. And I've been around a long time, and new adventures are always fun. And it was an awesome adventure. I had a great time. And that's all I'm saying.
And she kicks ass, like physically. That was fun.
It's hard on the knees, this show. Really, really hard on the knees. No? Right?
Yeah, no, like I'm covered in bruises and all.
Yeah. It was a tough schedule. It was really good fun. I remember one particular day walking down a lane with Melissa on one side and Kristen in the middle, and them going, well, the thing is, in order to get it with the light, we've really kind of got to kind of try and do it tonight. And Kristen going, what? We've really got to try and do it. I can't, I'm so tired. We worked such long hours. And there was some stunt or something, and it was just like, it was so much fun. We had a ball. We really
We're
did have
always
a ball.
doing stunts last.
Yeah.
Or at 2 or 3 in the morning.
Because they would try and get the scene stuff first so that you weren't too exhausted to actually do the interaction. So by the time they got to actually running down the street, you're going, it's 2 in the morning and we're supposed to do what? Kick what? Oh. So it was fun. I liked it. I like kicking ass. It's fun.
Let's talk a little bit about sort of the nuts and bolts process of making the show. By the look of it, I'm guessing you start filming most nights at like 1 a.m. I mean, it really, it's dark and it has that, darkness.
We made a deal with the city that there would be more nighttime. So New York's very accommodating.
They're very accommodating.
Yeah. I think we actually, because during the time we're shooting, there's not a lot of night. It's mostly daylight. I mean, it's really, so our nights are very, very short. So it's really a testament, I think, to the lighting and the talent of Manuel Billipier, our DP, who finds those shadows and lights and plays with all of that really sells that sort of noir.
We also sometimes do just shoot overnight.
Well, that's I knew it.
But in fairness, we have 2 sort of times of year that we shoot. Mm-hmm. And in the first season, as Kristen likes to remind us, we shot in the lovely November to April slot. And so when you see that first scene, when she's up on the fire escape and is sort of having a PTSD moment, she's also having a frozen moment. And it was literally like 4 degrees. I mean, I remember we were shooting one day, the scene where she comes out and talks to the woman who's shoveling snow in front of her house. Oh, yeah. And I'm standing on the street, we're up in the Bronx, and I look down at my phone, and it was 9 degrees, and I kept thinking...
And that was like high noon.
It's 12 o'clock. What's wrong with my phone? It doesn't say 9 o'clock. So when this came along, one of the benefits of having Defenders be in the other slot was they moved to the summer slot.
Praise baby Jesus.
And so Kristen came to us and said, so every year we're still in that slot.
Yeah, I made a deal.
Better the humidity than the
Yes.
cold, right?
I'll take humidity and heat any day.
Yeah.
I will. I never complain. I'll wear the leather jacket, the gloves. I'll put it all on. I will not complain.
I want to know, how many pairs of boots does the wardrobe have for you?
Probably 7.
Just in case.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Me, a backup, a rain pair, a dirtier pair, stunt double. You know. Yeah.
Quite the array. And is it a typical like 7-8 day schedule, or how?
9 days.
9 days.
Yes.
Nine,
With sometimes
and
with a.
Plus tandem
There'll be
days.
something.
Yeah.
And you block shoot, meaning you often shoot different parts of different episodes.
No,
you don't?
no, we tend to shoot directly on.
Straight sequential.
Season 1, we did some block shooting. We did episodes 1 and 2 together, 3 and 4 together.
And this year you made a choice about your directors that is very interesting and sort of, of the moment of things that people have been talking about. Can you talk, Melissa, you all 13 episodes are from female directors, and you were saying that this is not so much a, development program as it is just finding great people well established. Can you talk about how you came?
Yeah, I mean, we went into season 2 wanting to have the people behind the camera be really balanced, and as we started searching for, half and half female and people of color, and really diversifying our directing staff, and as we were looking further and further into the female directors, there is a slew out there of really talented seasoned pros with long lists of sexy credits. So, it's not like, so as Allie and I were talking and going further into it, Allie's like, well, why not just go with all 13? I'm like, yeah, why not? I mean, they're there. And not only do we book all 13 with a really stellar group of directors, there was a deep bench beyond it too. So it's not like, I get asked a question like, oh, so you were really discovering fresh faces. Are you kidding? These people, I was like begging them to come and work with me. These are seasoned pros. So it really wasn't that hard to have, to get a really stellar lineup. It's, they're there and working and doing beautiful work.
Mm-hmm. And do you have again, I'm sure much credit to the DP, but there's such a look to it. Is a lot of that done in your final coloring? It just has such a beautiful filmic look to it.
Well, a lot of that, was established by S.J. Clarkson in the pilot episode 2 of the show, and working with her and Manuel Billeter, our DP, who still is our DP. And we sort of walked in and with the idea that with Chinatown was our model, not the palette obviously, but the cinematic and tonal aspects of Chinatown. He would have these still frames that would just would play for a long time. So it's not about moving the camera and having it. It's about finding these beautiful cinematic moments and letting the actors come in and out and play, following them in that regard and setting a stage for them. So that was very much sort of established in the pilot and is still now, that's our tone and feel and look.
Mm-hmm. Tell us, in that great scene with Trish and Jessica talking on the roof, there's a movie playing behind them. It seemed like one of those great old noir 50s movies. Can you tell us what movie that was?
Yeah, Jeph chose that one. It was The Killers of 1946, I think. No.
That's great, a nice little touch. Was because it is very steeped in detective themes and of course the look of it, New York at night, just beautifully shot. Would you say were those classic detective stories, were they any kind of influence on you as you developed the world and the look of the show?
Well, for sure. We're always, I think in the writing of it, really trying to find those moments. And the voiceover is very, sort of borrowed from the noir structures. But, you know, it's again, it really is at the feet of our directors and our DP, Manuel Billetier. You know, he really, and our costume designer and set designer. I mean, everybody's, you know, contributing this to the overall look and feel.